Yo, man, what's good today? We finna react to It Gets Heated. Poor Man's Podcast debates with whatever her name is, Jadadiah Bila live on the Red Pill. First off, man, my thoughts on the Red Pill community, man, I don't know, man. Sometimes I see why it's there, you feel me? Because, you feel me, I really don't. You feel me? Like, they too overboard for me, bro, but I do kind of see why they there. I'm not even finna flex. I do see why they there.
Let me find the exact quote. Who should make the final decision in the household, being as men are expected to protect and die first for that household?
Men, easy.
What does that mean? Final decision about what? Anything?
When it comes to bigger decisions,
Decisions
like
in the
directing
household.
the family and the future of the family, I can wholeheartedly think that men should have that final decision.
Yeah. In my house, I'll tell you, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
How it works is we both come to the table on big decisions. Now, there's certain things that I don't care as much about as he does. There's certain things that he doesn't care that much about, but I do. For example, if we're going to go on a vacation, I'd be picky about the hotel, but probably not as picky about the location. So it's a give and take.
Yeah.
But every big decision that affects the family unit, we sit down and we really talk it through until we're both comfortable with that decision, and that's how it goes down. It's not a my way or the highway type of situation in my house. I would never want that, and I think there's going to be a lot of women that don't feel comfortable with that dynamic.
Yeah, I think that a lot of women get stuck up on the. I think that if you're a woman and you're married to a man, you should respect his ability to make decisions, and you should trust that he's going to make those decisions with your best interest. And I always like to say, I think that for efficiency purposes, one leader is the best way to go. When I was on the rugby team, I was a wing, so like I'm the guy that scores all the tries, and even though I score all the
I think I'll tweaking.
tries, the captain of the team is the captain because he has the most experience. Now I could be there and I could go, hey, captain, I see this guy, he's a little bit weaker. I think I could run around him. I think I could score. Maybe we should dish the ball out to me. Him being the captain and having more experience, he can say, no, I know that guy. I played against him. He's just baiting you. He's actually really good. Or he can say, you're right. Let's make that decision. So I believe that women are the neck and men are the head. So women can.
I agree with that. You feel me? I mean, that's gonna be a hot take to some people, but to me, I agree with that. You feel me? Like, I definitely do feel like the woman should, you feel me, respects the man' ability to lead. But also, that being said, I feel like the man should prove that he's able to be listened to. You feel me? Like, you can't just be listening to know anybody, giving your life up to know anybody. You feel me? I do believe that this man needs to earn that position. You feel me? So it goes hand in hand.
Have a say in what direction we go, but you should trust the man to make the final decision because you trust his decision-making skills because of the results that he's shown.
What if he doesn't have on that particular issue the experience, though? What if it's about something where she's lived in a bunch of places, or she grew up in a family where X, Y, and Z happened, that gives a lens that's really important, where she may be better fit to make that particular decision? Do you think that could happen?
Yeah, but I think that she can propose the decision, and the man can say based on what he knows if that's a good decision or not. And he should also trust. If you got a good leader, he's also going to trust you too. So like the captain of the team, he knows that I score. He knows my capability. He knows that how much I know about the game. So if he thinks that I'm making the right decision, he's going to say, yeah, let's do that. Especially if he knows that he hasn't been, say if he wasn't paying attention to what's been going on or whatever it may be, he might say, yeah, go ahead and do it. Let's do that because that's the best. I think that would be a good decision based on what you've presented to me. But I think that when it comes to the final decision in any kind of big situation, men should make it because men tend to think more on logic instead of emotion.
So that would be the.
Hey, that's facts, bro. Like, as a man, you feel me? You should speak off just straight. Take your feelings out of consideration. You feel me? And go based off what's the betterment of the family. You feel me? That's what men are good at. You feel me? At sacrificing. You feel me? We're good at sacrificing ourselves for the betterment for our family. You feel me? So I agree with that, bro. That's definitely a fact, bro. Whereas women, you feel me? They're obviously good at sacrificing for their children, but for the family, no, I don't agree with that. They'll definitely put their feelings involved. You feel me? A lot of the times, you feel me? They go based off of emotions.
One area I think where you and I disagree a little bit. I do think that women factor in emotion more. That we're both in agreement on. But I'm a firm believer in a partnership. So
Oh no, I like traditional marriage. I like husband wife. don't
Well,
do
I
the-
want husband wife too,
yeah, we
traditional
ain't
in
raising
that
no
sense.
babies and yeah.
So for
it's
me,
a thing people do.
and
It's a thing.
I think that there are a lot of women who, and it's interesting because it doesn't rub me wrong that you say that, because I'm also a firm believer that everyone should build the family structure that's comfortable for them. You know, if that works for you in your house, and great, you know, and if it doesn't work in my house, that's okay too. But there is a large segment of the female population that will hear that wrong. They'll want to say, well, I want to say, you know, a marriage is supposed to be a partnership, and if we're making a big decision, for example, as to where to move the family, I want to be with someone who wants me to have a say. So that's one area where we'll disagree, where I feel like that mutual respect in a relationship, for me, comes from an acknowledgement on both sides that each person's voice matters in those big decisions.
So like, okay, so say like so. You know PBD, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you work under PBD. If you went up to PBD and said you had an idea for something and he said he didn't want to do it because he didn't think it was a good idea, or if he said he did want to do it, you trust him to be able to make that decision, don't you?
Well, he's not technically my boss, actually. He's my partner, but that's a different dynamic. So I would always...
We buy any car.
There we go.
Comparing a marriage to a business arrangement.
Really?
That's something in business where it really depends. I mean, he's been doing this for longer than I have, and I would, in that instance, say, you know what,
Because
I'm going
you
to give him.
trust his ability
I
to
do
make the
trust
decision.
him, or I wouldn't be here doing this partnership with him. But
I agree with both. You feel me? Like, I believe in the beginning of a relationship, you feel me, when y'all first get together, I do believe that it should be more of a partnership until the man becomes where he needs to go. You feel me? Like, I believe this one of the times you meet in the middle type. Like, in the beginning, the man ain't just automatically come into money. You feel me? Like, I believe he should have somebody there to sustain him. But once he's where he needs to be, I believe the woman should, you feel me, quit her job and, you feel me, play more of the mother role, the wife role.
a marriage is not a business.
Why do you trust the decision do you trust the decision that he's going to make because you think that he knows more about it? Like he has a mind for it?
I think that I would be inclined probably to trust the decision for now.
Yeah.
And feel it out and see. And if I still feel strongly and differently in a few months, go back to that table and say, this needs to change. Here's why. Let's give it a go. And we've had actually some of those discussions and had things change. You know, oh, let her try this out. Let's see how it goes. Yeah. You know, but I don't ever compare a marriage to a business. But go ahead.
But continue. I'm just saying, like, so then if we both agree that men tend to make decisions logically.
I didn't say men though. I said, you asked me about PBD.
No, I'm just saying in general. Earlier before we agreed that men tend to think of things logically while women tend to think of things more emotionally. When it comes to life decisions, which person do you think is going to be more likely to make the better decision? I would agree that the logic, because of the sense of the ability to rational more or to use rationale more, is going to have better results in the long run. That's why I think for most people, that's the best way to do it. I don't think. I mean, maybe for not everybody. I don't know how people want to do their thing.
Yeah.
But I think
it depends on the decision.
I think it gets very dangerous when we start to say that you should just wing it and just do what you feel, because a lot of girls are going to feel like they can make that decision because, like I said, when you're younger, you're told that you're right by everybody. But that doesn't mean that you're actually making the better decisions. And if you...
Yeah, that's one thing that men are good at, bro. We are good at telling the truth, regardless of your feelings. It's facts over feelings with us, you feel me? Whereas with women, you feel me, they kind of take in consideration of this, they take in consideration of that, and they got to be mindful of everybody, you feel me? And you being mindful of everybody, you losing track of the end goal, you feel me? Because everybody ain't on the same page, you feel me? So you might take their advice, they might throw you off, you feel me? Like you got to go off you feel me? And that's one thing I can say that men are better at. I'm not saying, I am saying that men are definitely better at than women.
You trust your man to be the leader because he's shown results, and I don't think that you should marry a man unless he's shown that he can be a leader and has shown results. I don't care what he's talking about. And I believe the same thing for my daughter. If you trust that man to make the decisions because you selected him as a husband, you should let him make the final decision. Now, that don't mean you can't propose something. That don't mean you can't even have a 45-55. But when it comes to the final decision, if the man is more likely to make it off rationale and experience, then I think that he should be the one that gets the final decision.
Yeah, that wouldn't work for me. That wouldn't work for me only because, and I understand where you're saying.
Bro, I hate that, you feel me, that passive aggressive laughing, bro. I don't know. This is a personal thing, just with me personally, bro. Like, I hate passive aggressive shit, bro. I don't know, bro. Like, say how you feel, bro.
Saying about logic and emotions and all that, and I tend to agree with you in the sense that I think emotions, like I said, do play a bigger role for women than they do for men. But decisions can be really complicated and aren't always about just, you know, logic versus emotion. Sometimes experience comes into play. Sometimes the life you've lived comes into play. Sometimes maybe you haven't communicated to someone what really is important to you in this decision for whatever reason. So
Sometimes
what I'm
emotion
seeking-
even comes into play.
Sometimes emotion
You
even
need
comes
emotion
into
to
play
make a better decision.
So what I just love is a dynamic where, and I think what most women would probably want is a man who feels comfortable saying, I'm really confident, I believe this is the right decision, but also says, how do you feel about it, babe? Like, where are you coming from?
Yeah.
What do you think? And if there is a strong disagreement about that particular decision, that there has to be a meeting of the minds in some way.
For majority of women, who do you think is more comfortable? Who do you think they're more comfortable with men making decisions? Like in terms of even dates, something as simple as dates. Do you
Yes.
think majority of women want men to
Yes.
say, wear this dress, we're going here?
No, not wear this dress. No,
Or
but we're
okay,
going here.
Okay, yeah, we're going here.
We're going here.
Meet me there at this time. Be very
Yeah.
assertive, right?
Yes, I do.
So wouldn't you be kind of undermining that thing that women tend to desire from men when you say that you don't want him to make the final decision? I think that most women, by and large, are happy with the man making those decisions if they can trust that he's making them with her best interest in mind, and he's shown results.
So let me make
previously.
that one modification, and then we're gonna have to wrap because I just got an alert. I think there's a podcast in here after us today, but I could talk to you all day. But I think that what most women want is a man, again, who's comfortable making that decision and who is assertive and will, for example, pick a restaurant and say, hey, babe, I think we're going to go here tonight. This would be really, really great. But if she turns around and says, oh, I really want Chinese tonight. Okay, you know what? Who has that flexibility, and a man who wants her to have a seat at the table on those discussions.
Yeah.
A man who cares enough about her to care about what her vision is and what she sees and what she feels. So ultimately, they may wind up saying, you know what, babe, it's up to you. But they want to feel heard in those discussions and feel that their input is valuable to that man.
I think but that is the case, though.
Not always.
Not always, but
and not always in those dynamics that you're describing.
Yeah.
Maybe in your case,
no,
for sure.
Not always, but
Yeah.
I think that, and that's again why I say you should choose a leader that you think has your best interest in mind, and yada yada
A partner.
yada. Yeah.
Choose a partner.
Facts. I believe they agree on the same thing. Oh, it's like 5 seconds left, man. I do this a lot. Hold on.
Yeah, well,
Just let it finish up.
I believe in husband and wife. I don't really believe in the partner thing.
So that's
but-
great. I wish we had gotten to that sooner because
Okay, they over. But yeah, I believe they was basically saying and agreeing on the same thing with each other. You feel me? It's just I believe she was focusing more on the bad guys. I believe he was focusing more on the good guys and where the man should be. She's focusing and saying, well, these aren't the men that, you feel me? These aren't the men that women are picking, which is the women's choice. But you feel me? They basically agree on the same thing. I don't really see how things got heated. I mean, she did a little passive aggressiveness here and there, but overall, it was more of a, you feel me, a decent conversation. I agree with both. You feel me? I just feel like they targeting two different audiences, if you get what I'm saying. But they definitely had the right message out there, man.